Welcome to another episode of Clutch Entrepreneurs. Today we have a young 25-year-old real estate entrepreneur who went from working in kitchens to saving hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank in just a 3-year span. All right. He's the owner and founder of Riverwalk Home Buyers. He's a wholesaler, fix and flipper. He owns rentals, full-time real estate investor, action taker, and he does about 30 deals a year solo. No team, just one VA. So if you're on the channel, guys, and you're interested and this is something that you can definitely achieve. All right, so I'm excited to bring my guest today, Stone Saathoff.
Nailed the name pronunciation, by the way.
Dude, speaking of your name, that's a cool name, Stone.
Yeah.
That's a cool name. That's a one of one.
It's a little different for sure.
It's a little different.
With being memorable and stuff like that.
Where does Saathoff come from?
Northern Germany, actually. Everybody on my dad's side was farmers, and that name actually is for somebody who works on a farm.
Really?
Yeah.
So you got the farmer lineage.
Yeah.
Hard worker.
Yeah.
Gotcha. From Germany.
Yeah. And then my dad's family's all out in Hondo, and they still do farming there.
Really? Interesting. How long have they been in Hondo? I think my grandpa's from Hondo.
Since 1859.
Really?
Yeah.
So were they there when it was Mexico? Or
Kind
shortly
of
after?
like when Texas was its own thing is when they got there,
Right.
I believe. And
That's
then it
interesting.
became part of the States 4 years later, something like that.
That's pretty crazy.
It is.
That's pretty interesting. So, man, for the viewers, I think this is going to be an excellent show because I think pretty much the average viewer on my channel would love to be in your position.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
You were working in kitchens 3 years ago.
Until 2019, yeah.
That's crazy, man. And now you've saved up hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, all from real estate investing.
Correct. And I use a lot of that for real estate investing too, but, that's what I've been able to amass over the last couple of years.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So you're building a rental portfolio, you're fixing, flipping, and you're wholesaling properties.
Right.
That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's kind of just living the dream,
Yeah, exactly. So, man, let's give the audience, man. Who is Stone Saathoff, man? Who are you in high school?
I was actually a very quiet, shy guy in high school, especially early on because I was like homeschooled earlier, through elementary and middle school.
Oh, really?
So when I went to high school and it's like 3,000 people, didn't really know how to handle crowds that large or how to interact with so many people,
Dang.
find stuff in common, fit in, whatever.
Really?
So,
that sounds kind of crazy. So
was.
you were like sheltered all the way up until middle school, and then they just dropped you in high school.
You could say sheltered a little bit, I guess, but we're still exposed to many different things. And
But just like not being around public schools, right?
Right.
Like that's what I mean by it.
Right.
So like you're just homeschooled all the way up until the end of middle school?
Correct. And we went to some like sort of private places. It's weird. You'd go there a couple days a week for your classes and stuff like that, and then the rest was at home.
Uh-huh.
It was kind of different.
Really?
But it's part of what made me different as a person, so I'm with it these days.
And then did you go to public school?
Yeah, for high school,
What
all
high
high
school?
school. Not in San Antonio. I'm from the Houston area, so it's
gotcha.
called Cypress Woods High School.
Dang, so was that a little crazy for you? Because I remember I
It
was
was.
nervous going to high school, just going from middle school. Cause,
It was, man. I had like crazy social anxiety. I felt really introverted, but I started making a couple friends, and then especially more towards junior and senior year, I started coming out of my shell a little more. Man,
that's interesting because as to be successful in real estate, you have to have really good social skills.
Yeah, and we'll get to that, I'm sure, about how I started to develop those, but yeah, did not have any from the beginning.
Wow. Okay. So that's interesting. So you were lacking social skills, you would say?
Big time. Especially like I just didn't interact with that many different people earlier on. And then even towards the end of high school and after high school, I'd really just do my job and then go home and work out and stuff like that.
Well, we have something in common because I don't know if I've said it on another podcast. I started all this because I felt I was socially awkward.
Really?
Yeah.
You started which part?
All of this, the social media.
The social media.
Like I
side,
wanted to
okay.
become more and more loose, and it was weird.
That's part of the reason I do it too.
You too?
Yeah.
So we got something in common there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just good to be known and have your name out there. And when you're constantly posting stuff, people are able to see what they have in common with you, and you make more friends and business deals and all sorts of stuff.
Exactly. And I think that, well, it's huge, but I think this has a lot to do with. So I read a book one time. It's called the Growth Mindset.
Uh-huh.
So it talks about, just if y'all are watching, guys, and you're interested in this, there's such thing as a fixed mindset person and a growth mindset person.
Right.
And a fixed mindset person would be like, man, I'm kind of awkward. I suck at this. Let me try something else.
I've listened to this audiobook too.
It's a good book.
Yeah.
And a growth mindset person says, no, you know what? We have the ability to change, to grow.
It's the belief that you either just are who you are or that you can develop into who you want to be, pretty much.
Got it. And that's so important. Because, guys, just know, like, you're not going to have all the skills off the bat to be who you want to be.
Right.
Plain and simple. You're going to be lacking in many areas. Right. And this can go with anything. This can go as a business owner. This can go as a real estate investor. It can go with anything. So just social settings. And just know that who you see in front of you today took a lot of work and a growth mindset, because I'm not ever going to give up until we hit our goals. Right? So I think that was good for them to know that about you.
It is good for people to know that, for sure.
And especially just like, because I know people see me and they probably think I was like this my whole life.
Right.
No, I wasn't. I developed these skills. Man, so that's cool, man. So what's the come up story, man? So you started in restaurants. You were in restaurants for mostly the start of your career?
Yeah. So starting around late high school, like senior year, I didn't really know what I wanted to do for a living, like for work or college or anything. Uh-huh. I was working in restaurants. I liked cooking. I worked at Waffle House.
Waffle House. Oh, so you can make a mean omelet.
Yeah, it was a fun place to work. But I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for. And you know how it is in high school. They're always like, you got to go to school for something. You got to go to school for something.
Yeah,
My parents were the same way. So they were like, why not go to culinary school?
You went to culinary school?
I did. I went to the one here at the Pearl. And that's how I ended up in San Antonio in 2016.
Interesting.
So I did that for 2 years. I finished that. And then I was just working in nice restaurants around downtown for like a year or two. And just after a while, going through the motions, you know, chefs are very hostile, hot-tempered. They yell at you a lot. Just getting Gordon Ramsay'd every night for $12.50 an hour, it, you know, got to me eventually. And I started looking for other ways to get ahead. And that actually led me to a mechanic job at a Ford dealership.
Okay.
I was looking to get into the oil field. I applied to a few oil field jobs, never got called back. But I saw this entry-level mechanic job, and I was like, I'm ready to try something different. This pays better. Let's give it a shot. So I did that for like half a year. Then this is really where things took a turn, because they switched us to commission-based. And we were all those mechanics in the shop were worried, because we're like, we don't have a guaranteed amount of money anymore. But what ended up happening is we would ram in more and more jobs, and I ended up making like 3 times as much money. And going from making like $12.50 an hour, you know, I was going to clearing $275, $300, you know, almost every day.
Dang.
And that was like solid money in 2018, 19.
Yeah.
For being like a 19-year-old.
Yeah, actually, that's really good.
So that job enabled me to save up, you know, starting from a few grand in the bank that I just saved over time to something like 35,000. And then I found my real estate sales job at New Western, and I was able to jump into that commission-based real estate sales job because I had a little saving I had built up.
You had a little cushion.
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
Because you can't jump into a job with no base pay if you don't have any savings.
True.
I mean, if you were to not make sales for a couple months like I did, you could potentially end up, you know, moving back in with your parents or something, and I was never going to let that happen. Yeah,
that's interesting. And you know what? So that's a problem we have with sales or hiring people in general. Right. Because here we're all commission based.
Right.
So real estate is not for the weary. I'll tell you that. It's a roller coaster, and you can be really successful, or you can be in the dumps. There's almost no in between.
Yeah, I always saw it that way too. You're either like a top performer or a nobody sometimes.
That's exactly what it is. Because like the guys that are stuck in the middle don't last long.
Right.
Because you can only last so long like that, living life.
And you're not prospering, and, you know, it is a decent amount of work doing this stuff still, even though it's more enjoyable. But if you're not getting a lot out of it, you're probably not going to stick with it.
Yeah, I think like when I jumped in real estate, I was doing a lot of fixer-uppers. I was doing $100,000 remodels. I was making good money. And I had never experienced that, and it's tough.
You had never experienced what?
Called commission based.
Oh, yeah.
Like just trying to make a sale.
Right.
But I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Because once you start doing good, it's like, oh shit, ain't no turning back now.
I almost didn't make it. I went about 3 months at New Western before I had sold my first house, and I was like crying myself to sleep every night looking for other jobs and stuff. And then
For real?
I finally sold one.
Oh damn! How did that go? Like, did you catch wind? Like, did you get momentum?
Yeah. So like I was really ready to quit, and I like talked to some family members on the phone, and my dad was like, "You gave up so much to be here. You got to at least sell one house and then decide if you want to stick with it or not." So
Dang.
just doubled down again. The next week, I finally sold that house, and then I did 2 more that month, and then COVID and all that hit, and stuff got crazy. But I still ended up making more sales month after that, and it just cascaded.
Nice. So what? Okay. So let's just say you're going to the point where you're about to quit.
Right.
I like this part of the story.
Right.
Dude, think about it. Honestly, think about this. I love reading biographies on people, successful people and stuff, because I like to see the part where they almost quit.
Yeah.
It always comes after you almost quit.
Does it?
Always, bro.
I
fucking listen to
didn't
so
know
many
that.
stories, bro. Always, and it's always like, well, because you know why because if they did quit, I wouldn't read their story because they wouldn't have a story.
That's
you
true.
know
That's
what I mean?
very true.
It gets hard, bro.
Yeah.
Life gets hard. I've gone through many moments like that. But think about it, and I'm sure the audience can relate to this, because I'm sure you're going through tough times. We all go through it. Just know that. That's why I like to bring these stories up. Bro, think about it. If you didn't have that conversation with your family, you would have quit. Where do you think you'd be today?
Oh God, I have no idea. Probably still like working in a mechanic shop somewhere, like not loving my life very much.
But here you are on the podcast, successful.
It's good to be on this side.
Hundreds of $1,000s
I'm
in the
glad
bank.
I didn't give up.
And like you have a career for life. Like you're never gonna go broke again.
I would never go back to working for somebody else. Probably.
This skill set has got you.
Yeah, the skill set of finding discounted real estate and being able to sell and socialize, you know, with powerful people and all that, is just like, it's hard to fall back from that.
And learn how to market, learning how to negotiate, learning how to leverage other people's money.
So many different
Like,
skills.
bro, you're never gonna go broke again. I promise
Right.
that. Like literally learning the skill, you can have 0 in the bank today. You can lose it all.
Right.
And I bet you can go get 30 in the bank by a month and a half, 2 months from now.
Probably.
Just like that.
Probably.
So, guys, if you're interested in learning how to do this, stay tuned because we're going to go into a deep dive.
We are going to do specifics. So.
Yeah, this isn't going to just be story time, motivational bullshit. I'm going to ask him some questions about marketing, scripts, data, negotiating, rehab. Like, you're going to learn a lot from this. All right, so make sure you stay tuned and make sure you show some love. Subscribe, drop some comments, share with your friends. This can be a game changer, I promise y'all. All right, so, yeah, no, it's just interesting to me, man, because, like, man, there's that moment you were going to quit. You told me, like, you literally were going to quit.
Right. So I had lived in a decent apartment before I went the real estate route. But when I was getting ready to work at New Western, I found, like, the cheapest apartment I could possibly find. It was $550 a month.
Same.
It was in, like, the most ghetto area.
Yeah.
My dad wouldn't even come visit me. It was so rough. He was like, oh, my God. And then I had that money in the bank, and I knew that no matter what happened, like, I could give this all I had for like a year even, and I still wouldn't be homeless. Like, the bills would be paid. So I just put myself in the position that I could go at it.
Oh, I love that. And that's what it takes. So in order to be successful, guys, there's a few things that it takes. It takes, I would call it burning the bridges. Like
Burn the ships, I've heard too.
Burn the ships, exactly. There ain't no going back.
Right. No
You're
going
all
back.
in. Not 1 foot in, 1 foot out bullshit. Nah, I'm all in. This is either going to work or it's not.
And that's kind of what I decided too. Like, when I had those nights I was crying myself to sleep wanting to quit, the next day I decided, like, I'm going to double down again and go even harder. You know, we're going to make twice as many sales calls today. We're going to watch more educational content, you know, do more prospecting, stuff like that, and make it work.
I love that shit. And it's like same here. Like when I was first starting my own businesses, bro, I was staying in garages for $500. Literally, like the shower was in the closet. The toilet was in another closet. Like it was a makeshift garage.
Which business is this?
My first businesses and landscaping and everything.
Landscaping
just
and
trying to make it.
construction.
Yeah, just trying to make it, bro. Like literally my restrooms were in closets. I was just in a little garage with some tile on it, some sheetrock.
I actually find a lot of motivation from places like that.
I love it. I still go. So there's still a trail that I go to, and I still walk by it sometimes. I'll just like get off the trail because I
Yeah.
used to walk this. I walked the same trail, and I go check it out. I was living behind, or actually, it was in front of somebody's house. And then I would even stay in like people's houses for free and remodel their houses. Like they would let me stay, like if it was their rental or something.
Right.
Like I do the remodel for them, and I do like $1,500, 2,000 worth at a month at a time. Just get the shower working first. So I would stay in houses with like no sinks and like just bare everything.
That's pretty crazy.
I was staying for free though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would say I'll fix it for you, because I knew how to do remodels.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. So yeah, we struggled. I mean,
That's
I wouldn't say we struggled, but we had to make the sacrifice.
Yeah. I actually lived in a 400 square foot little shack in Southtown up until like a year and a half ago. That's when I built all of this out of there. And now I have a house, but
I was the same way, bro. I love that shit though. I was in that house with money, like saved up and still in the little 500 square foot garage. And then like I would get little studio apartments. I like it though. I'm a simple guy.
yeah, and it keeps me out of the house more and all that good stuff. So
Yeah, because are you the same? Like you wake up, you get ready, you prepare, and you don't come back till you're gonna go to sleep, right? That's
at
what I am.
that time, yeah.
I'm still that way to this
now
day.
I'm doing like the bodybuilding and stuff like that, and I do most of my work and food at home.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it changes up here and there.
Nice. Well, I wake up, I leave, and I come back just to sleep and shower. That's it. So
That's a great way to do it.
yeah, but it is what it is. So man, so now the people want to know. You got into real estate investing. You were gonna quit.
Right.
You didn't quit.
I didn't quit.
You found success, and then what?
It kind of just kept snowballing. So like I would sell that first month, I sold 3 houses. The next month, I think I sold 5, then 7. And then we had some months that was as high as 10 to 12 houses. And I was raking in 20 or 30 grand a month in commissions or so.
Damn.
And going from making like 3 or 4 on the best months up to that was pretty crazy.
You were making 20, 30 grand at the brokerage?
At New Western, yeah.
Wow, that's great money.
Yeah.
Okay. And
This
then
is
what
like
happens?
a great hiring ad for them. But, so yeah, that kept snowballing. I was making good money there. They started letting me do acquisitions. And so I actually had this one month where I double dipped. This is where you acquire it and sell it. So you get like double the commission. An apartment complex, a quadplex, a triplex, and 4 houses. And I think my net off those commissions was about 70 grand in one month. And that's when I said, okay, it's time to quit and start my own business.
You made 70 grand?
Correct. In 1 month. I was actually like their number 1 guy on both sides for that month. And then I just quit without any warning. And they were like, but
Damn.
it was part of the plan. This whole thing was about freedom for me. And I wanted to do something on my own. And that's when I knew I had enough to take that full jump.
Bro, how did you find those apartments?
That was actually MLS cold calling. They teach you
Really?
to prospect on MLS to find wholesale deals.
You got all those deals off MLS?
Well, I cold called an agent that had a house listed, and I told him I had a buyer looking for stuff like that for rental houses. And he said, we're getting ready to list this apartment complex in Bernie. Would he like to take a look at it? And I was like, hell yes, he would. So he sent over the info. I sent it to my buyer. Then he added in the quadplex, triplex, and the other 3 houses. And we just did it all as a package.
What was the fee on that?
Total wholesale fee was like 120 grand. And then my take home from that was like 65 or 70 because since I double dipped it, I was in their highest bonus percentage on both sides. So I got over 50% of that.
Damn.
Which is a
Crazy.
lot. Working at a wholesale company, that's a good piece of the pie to get.
Yeah.
To be fair, I did all the work, but
Yeah.
they gave me the platform to do it.
Right. Dude, that's sick, bro. Okay, so, man, that's pretty crazy.
So when I made the jump from normal job to real estate commission sales, had about 30 in the bank. And then when I went from real estate sales job to starting my own business, something like 110, 120 grand in the bank.
Nice.
And that's when I felt comfortable to make that jump.
Okay, and then what was the plan?
I was actually working with John at Prime Homes a little bit. They were kind of mentoring me, kind of trying to scout me to be their acquisitions guy. And we did a couple of deals together. We did a flip together. We did a wholesale together. And they sort of taught me how to do text marketing. And then I was in this mastermind, and that taught me how to do the direct mail and set up my brand and all that. So it was kind of coming together through different sources.
So for the viewers that don't know what text marketing and direct mail is, what is that?
So text marketing would be you're going to take like a whole zip code, for example, look up all the phone numbers of homeowners there that have equity, have owned their house a long time maybe, and you're going to message all of them and ask them if they'd be interested in selling their house, possibly for a cash offer.
Right, but it's text blasting, right, is what we call it.
Right.
But it's a mass texting.
Yes.
So it's like a program, right?
Correct.
And then you get data with so many lines.
Correct.
Like what would you?
And right now I'm using a software called Smarter Contact.
You use Smarter Contact?
Right now, yeah.
So like what's the average size of for the viewers like of a blast? How many addresses?
Per a certain period of time. Well, I'll say it this way. Yeah, in a month, probably about 30,000 texts.
So you send 30.
Would be
do you still do that
there.
today?
My VA does, but yeah.
Okay, so you still do
Yes.
text. Dang, I haven't
Yes.
heard people do that to this day.
It's getting harder and harder. The regulations are getting tighter and tighter.
Because you have to put like the unsubscribe and all that now, right?
Yep,
So
and
it
your
looks body.
business has to be registered. You have to have a real LLC. You have to have a tax ID number. You have to show them what you're using it for.
Oh man, that sucks, guys. Just to let you know, before when I was doing it years ago, you didn't have to do none of that.
It's so
it was the
easy.
wild, wild west. So
It
like
was.
literally, it would look like I'm just texting you from my phone, and it
Right.
just looked like a regular text message. Now it looks like spam.
Those days were almost like you could just reach up into the air and grab money.
That was amazing.
It was awesome.
It was so good. I don't do any marketing anymore, but we're gonna get back to it because I think a lot of people aren't doing it anymore. Well, now
Yeah.
it's PPC. Everybody does PPC.
Yeah, PPC is tricky too, and that one's not as consistent because you aren't reaching out to the homeowner. It's like if they look up that service, maybe
not on
Google
offense.
will put your ad up there.
Yeah, it's not. I never liked it. I like being on offense.
Right.
I like cold calling, direct. Like I'm shooting my shot, right?
Yeah. These days, direct mail is my favorite, but I still go big on the web stuff because a lot of people get that mail and go to your website too and do research. So.
Right. And so for the viewers, what is direct mail?
So direct mail, kind of like we're texting homeowners asking if they'd be interested in selling. Instead of that, we are going to mail them a letter saying what we do. We're cash home buyers. We help people who are behind on payments, have bad tenants, house in disrepair, whatever it may be. And we're going to send them a letter telling them we'd be interested in buying their house for cash. Give us a call if they're interested.
And it's the same thing, right? So you buy data, except this one you don't have to skip trace it. All you
Right.
need is the address.
Since we're doing specifics, I'll say I do still get most of my house data from PropStream.
PropStream. Okay. Do you use the golden address?
What's that?
You don't know what the golden address
The
is?
golden address?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, I'm gonna put you on after the show. So actually, it's okay. So the golden address is when you skip trace it through certain companies, they give you it's called the golden address, and that narrows the list down to probably like 20%, and that's a hit rate of like 100%. It's validated by the mail. Like like you send some mail sometimes and it doesn't go to the right person.
Right.
So it's like validated.
Okay.
And
I haven't experienced too much of that because most of the mail houses will run your mail list against a national change of address list. So if somebody's moved recently or whatever, they'll still send it to their new address.
Yeah. So
Automatically.
I actually I've never done direct mail, but I would go to seminars. It was something about I want to say it was that. It might be something I was done.
I think it's the same thing. That's probably
never
a different
done-
term for it.
maybe I've never done direct mail. FYI, it's expensive. How
It
much are you
sure
paying
is.
per piece?
I want to say right now it's 55 or 60 cents a letter.
Dang, that's
And
expensive, guys.
that's through like a CRM that I have a subscription for, so they give you better rates.
Dang.
Last year, it was as low as 50 cents, and then sometimes they'd run discounts, and I'd be sending letters for 46 cents each with postage.
That's expensive though still.
That's low for letters.
So like on this type of list, you have to narrow it down, niched out. You have to do like a certain type of
Yeah.
niche list, huh?
I'm
'Cause you
assuming
could blow some money on that.
there's a lot of probably people in San Antonio watching this, so
Yeah.
I'd hate to say the exact lists I use, but we'll say like narrowing down certain subsets of absentee owners is a big one. So a normal mail campaign for me will be somewhere in the 5,000 to 10,000 record range.
That's okay. So guys, just to translate this for you. So he's saying 10,000 records. That's 10,000 addresses, basically. He's sending 10,000 mail pieces out at 55 cents a piece. You do the math.
So yeah, probably 5 or 6 grand.
5 or 6 grand a month.
I don't do it every month. Sort of this business goes in cycles. So like right now I have a few deals closing I'm about to get paid out on. I just ordered a big mail campaign yesterday. So now that money's coming back, I'm going to look for some deals to deploy it into.
Okay, so and guys, you're not sending mail pieces one by one. It's the same thing as the text blasting. So you're getting data, right? And you're loading it into a program.
You send that list of 10,000 to a mail provider.
Right.
You select your letter template, pay for it, and then they're going to send all of it, and it's pretty hands off.
Okay, so it's very easy. It's literally you just got to pay for it, basically. You just got to have your data very clean.
And the beauty of mail, unlike Google, is that you can choose exactly what houses you send it to. So you can look for stuff you like to flip, areas you like to flip, and people also hold on to them. I've gotten calls from letters as long as a year later.
Really?
And it'll turn into a deal.
And there's different types of letters. So you got like handwritten looking letters. You got postcards. You got also, which ones do you use?
I use print letters.
So it looks like handwritten?
I've tried the handwritten.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about printed like out of a printer.
Okay.
I've tried the handwritten, have not had good success with them here.
Okay. I heard the good one, a good one too was the one with the picture of the house, like the Google map.
That one gets a really good response rate, but it also gets a lot of pissed off people.
Really?
Because people view like a picture of their home on there as like an invasion of privacy for some reason.
Yeah. So, okay, guys. So we went over direct mail, right? So just to break it down very easily, you buy data of the areas you want to invest in or the areas you want to market in.
Right.
And then you narrow it down to basically whatever it is you want to market to. If it's a certain zip code, you can get data by absentee owners. That means the person has a house, but they don't live there. You can narrow it down by age group. You can narrow it down by...
pre-probate is a good one too. Something that has a deceased owner.
Pre-foreclosure. There's so many different types of niches. So that's a whole different conversation. That's data.
Yeah.
Right? So...
And I'll add in too, the reason we send so many letters, you might be like, oh my God, why do you spend $6 grand and send so many letters? Because it takes on average 3,000, 3,500 to get a deal. So I don't just want to send 3,000 letters and maybe I get a deal, maybe I don't. I'd rather do 10,000 and be sure to get a couple of deals out of it.
So out of $6,000, that's what, 10,000?
2 or 3 deals would come out of that.
2 or 3 deals? How many leads?
That depends on the list. So like the pre-probate stuff, a lot of the times I'll get a call. That is a lot more likely to be a deal than the absentee. I'll get more calls off of that, less of them turn into deals. So it depends, but I'd say probably a few dozen I'd expect off that, a few dozen leads.
That's it?
Yeah.
Leads in general, just people calling.
I'm not including people that like call and tell you to F off.
Right. So somebody interested in selling their house.
Correct.
So out of 10,000 mailers, you might get, let's just say 30 leads.
Yeah.
And out of that, you'll get 2 deals. 2, 3 deals.
I'd lean 3, but yeah.
Okay, but but we're talking cash deals, wholesale deals, flicks and flips.
Correct, and those might pay 15 grand each if you wholesale them. They might pay 20 or 25 or 30 each if you close and sell them as is. They might pay 40 or 50 if you flip them.
Dang. Okay, so that's a great return. So you're talking if you flip these deals, you can make a potential of 150 grand, and you paid 6 grand.
Probably a little more spending to get that much, but yeah, that has happened.
Let's just say at least 100 grand.
Several times, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
At least 100 grand?
Yeah.
Dang, that's a great deal.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot of leads to work with.
No, and it's easier to work with less high quality leads, and it improves your confidence on the phone too. If you're closing more of them, that makes you feel better.
$100,000 for investment of 10,000?
Yeah, so the return.
The return. That's a great return though.
I think most people who do direct mail aim to make 3 times what they spent on the marketing.
Shit, you're blowing that shit out the water.
That's a good rule of thumb.
You're making 20x.
At times, yeah. And then there's some...
But you're different, though, because you're flipping. Most people wholesale.
Right. And at times, sometimes you'll hit a dud. You'll mail a list of a few thousand records, and you maybe won't get a deal.
Yeah. But you're also a licensed agent.
Yeah.
Do you ever list them? Do you get listings?
Not those. And I actually learned about this in a mastermind because he had this issue. He saw a lot of his students would pivot too quickly to offering to list it. And that kind of does something weird in the seller's mind because they're like, why did you just offer me 50 grand less when you can list it and get me this much?
Ooh.
It makes them feel like betrayed a little.
Ooh.
So it's better to just be an investor first. And like I've listed some houses for investor friends of mine for sure, but not sellers.
Gotcha. And do you ever do any like creative finance out of that?
Some subject twos, yeah. I have 3 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can, but see, that's what's good. So like, I would say though, you are like a Navy SEAL compared to the average marketer sending mail.
Oh yeah, like very targeted.
You're targeted,
sniper approach.
You're targeted. You're well trained in the negotiations and the rehabs because you're a flipper.
Yeah.
So I would say like you're probably gonna like compared to a regular, like you definitely get more juice out the.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely squeeze harder.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So okay, so those are actually really, really good numbers though.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried mailing in like sub markets, secondary?
Like outside of San Antonio,
like
as an
secondary,
example.
you know?
I've tried. I've sent some in New Braunfels. I've sent some in Castroville. A little bit in Bernie. There's not as many houses there.
How does that go?
I've had leads there. I've offered on houses there. I've come very close to getting one in New Braunfels, but I didn't quite get it.
I think that's a market I would take. I would go into the secondary and even third markets.
Right.
And I bet you'd hit home runs.
I've included them in the mailing several times, but I've always had better luck in San Antonio, especially with my branding, because it's like Riverwalk Home Buyers, 210 number, all that.
I'm going to give you a nugget. If it was me, I would target, because I don't need a market like that no more. I would do land. I would target land in second and third markets around big cities.
That's probably a good move.
And so if you don't understand what I mean, a second or third market is cities around big markets. So secondary market would be like San Antonio is a big market. You got little towns around us. So you got New Braunfels, Castroville, Pleasanton, Floresville.
You got Bernie, New Braunfels, Schertz, Cibolo, Seguin.
And then you got third markets, the outer loop of that. So a little bit farther out, but there's money to be made in land. All right, and it's close enough to a big market. So a little tip for y'all, little gold nugget, go make some money. Yeah. All right, man. So we talked about data. We talked about marketing channels. Right. What about scripts? How do you talk to these people?
So I've never been a huge fan of scripts. I know a lot of people use scripts, especially like an operation like this where you have people working for you. You kind of have to have some of that. Mm-hmm. But I've always kind of free-handed it. I mean, I listen to other people's sales calls sometimes to give me ideas. But it's pretty straightforward. People call in. We'll talk about the house. I'll set up a time to go see it and go from there.
So how does it go? I've never done outbound marketing, or would that be inbound? Inbound. I've never done inbound marketing.
Right. Where they call you.
Yeah. So how does that go? Because I heard like you have to be really fast on these, right? Like they go stale real quick, or they'll call somebody else and somebody else will get the deal. Is that true?
When it comes to the web stuff, absolutely. Because if somebody's filling out their form or filling out the form on your site, they're probably going to go to 3 or 4 others. And whoever calls them first and gets out there first has got a good chance of getting it. But with the mail, a lot of the times they'll either call you right when they get it, or they'll hold on to it for a couple weeks and then call you. And those tend to be a little more relaxed.
More relaxed?
Yeah.
So how does it go? What's the average? Like, when somebody calls you, how do they approach you?
Yeah, some of them are a little standoffish.
Like, hey, like, can you give me hey?
Yeah, trying to get a price right away or how much is the offer, sometimes. But
hey, you send me a mailer. I was just calling to see how much your offer is.
Right.
Pretty much like that?
Yeah, and then occasionally I'll soften them up. But a lot of them are pretty easy to deal with, actually.
Okay, and how does, your script go? Like, can we do, a little role play for them?
Sure thing.
So let's just say I'm Johnny from Floresville.
Yeah.
All right. Or actually, you only do San Antonio, right? So let's just say I'm Johnny from the airport.
You can be whoever you want, and I'll play along. All
right. Hello. Hey, is this River City Home Buyers?
Yeah, this is Stone with Riverwalk Home Buyers. What can I do for you?
Hey, no, I just got a piece of mail, and it says that you were interested in purchasing my property. So I was just calling to see how much would you offer on my property.
Well, could we start with the address?
So it's 123 Street.
Okay. And then I'll usually look it up while this is going on and maybe relay some of the facts about it. Like, okay, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, name of the neighborhood, whatever. And we'll talk about the house a little bit. Sometimes I get into condition, sometimes I don't. A lot of the times they'll just sort of tell me what's going on because like the letter says, you know, we're buying problem properties, lists of issues and stuff like that, and they'll just come out and identify. It's a rental house. My renter just moved out. They left it in pretty rough shape, so I wanted to see what you could get me for it.
Okay.
And then I'll go out there and look at it.
Okay, so then you just say you don't put a price on the first call. You set an appointment.
I don't.
Every time.
Unless it's a really hot lead, like let's say somebody gets you on Google and they're ready to meet you in like an hour, I'll be prepared to offer on that on the spot in person. If it's a mail lead and they set up the appointment 2 days out or something like that, I won't even make the offer on the spot. I'll just focus on making a great impression while I'm at the house, bonding with them a bit, getting the info I need, then I'll come back and send it to them in writing.
Do you ever have a problem making the offer?
Define a problem.
Like, do you ever it's hard to come out?
I think everybody feels that a little bit. Some of the reactions are pretty funny, man. One time, this lady was like, well, I think a lowball price would be 160. And I was like, at 75. And she was like, and I almost laughed. It was funny, the reactions.
So you know what I do, or what I used to do when I do a lot of marketing? I would always go to the financial department. An imaginary financial department.
Oh, you pass the buck to somebody else.
So that way, like, hey, look, ma'am, I'm on your side. I'm going to get you as much as you can. I'm going to go speak to the financial department. Do you have a price in mind? So maybe I can go with them and see if we can get close to that. And then they'll be like, well, you know, if I can get 140, that'd be good. And I'm looking at my numbers. I'm at 100 or something. I'm like, okay, great. That's your number? Is there any room in that? Like, I'm going to go back there and I'm going to try to get this approved for us, all right? If I can get this approved, will we be able to sign it up? You know,
that's pretty good. The financial department.
Yeah, and I'm the financial department.
You are the financial.
Yeah.
So they already know I'm the buyer because I like put that on all my stuff.
No, but it's okay. But because you're Riverwalk home buyers, you're not Stone Saathoff.
True.
You know what I mean? You're a company. So, but I guarantee you, bro, it takes out all the ego. It takes out all the pressure because now it's not your number versus their number. It's the financial department versus you and them.
I think a lot of people have a tough time making the offer too because they think it's low. And so they're presenting it with not a lot of confidence. They're like, oh, man.
That's another thing.
I think I could maybe do 60.
Yeah.
Instead, try, like, I actually think I could get you 60 grand for it.
Right. And I always say good news.
Positive.
So I go to the financial department and I say, all right, ma'am, so I know you want 140. Okay, let me go talk to him. Can you give me some time? And then I learned this from this dude, Eric Klein. He's like a sales guy.
I know.
So he puts it on mute. And then he just, like, while I'm comping shit, you know what I mean, trying to get a solid offer, they're just talking, right? And so I'll come back, and you always got to say this in a positive, upbeat mode, guys. Lots of confidence with the offer. So I always, hey, I got great news. So I did get it approved, and we can get it done for $103,000, and we can get it done here in the next 2 weeks. How does that sound?
That's good.
Boom. Right?
The easiest rule of thumb I think of is, like, present it like you think it's a great offer.
Right. But great news.
Yeah.
I got it approved.
Right.
It was 40 grand less than what you wanted, but I made it sound good.
No, because that does something in their mind. If you're saying it like it sounds bad, they're going to think it's bad.
Right.
You know?
So that's a little trick. Y'all are making money off this video, I guarantee you. We're dropping too much sauce. I should fucking package this up and sell it.
Yeah.
Shit, we're dropping too much. This is a whole ass course we're dropping.
I've learned things watching your show too, so.
Oh, hell yeah. Shout out. Oh, dude, speaking of that, Jose, he was on the show before.
Yeah, one of your guests from 3 weeks ago.
Y'all connected on a deal.
Yeah, so I listed a house for sale that was outdated, and I believe him and his wife are buying it to move in and fix it up and eventually flip it.
Yeah, so he called me all ecstatic. JR, bro, I'm going to blast your shit everywhere, bro. I literally just got, like, my next house, like, my house, my personal residence because of your show. I was like, really? What happened? He's like, no, man, I'm looking in a certain neighborhood, and I really wanted this deal. And I called up the realtor, and he's like, yeah, man, I just saw you on JR's show. Great episode, man. Let's make it happen.
And I was that realtor.
Yeah, you were him. He was like, yeah, man, let's make it happen. And I was like, what? That's crazy, man. So he was really happy, man. So that was awesome.
Yeah, you're doing some great networking out here.
Yep. So, all right, man. So scripts, negotiating. Okay, now let's talk about the hardest part. What's the hardest part of the flip?
The hardest part of the flip is, I'm assuming you're talking about getting through the remodel.
The remodel.
Yeah.
Did you have trouble in that part of the?
Absolutely. My very first flip was $20,000 over budget in the Lone Star District. 780 square foot house. Total numbers on the rehab, 92 grand. Damn. Over $100 a square foot.
And what did you estimate?
My contractor had told me 65 originally, and then we were at like 75, and then the total ended up being 92.
So did you make money on that deal?
20 grand. Yeah.
You made 20,000, but you were supposed to make 50.
I was supposed to make more than 20 grand.
Damn, man. Okay. So, I like to go and speak from a novice level.
Sure.
I've never done a deal in my life. I've never even made a phone call.
Right.
All right. So think about how scary these people are when they're making offers because they don't know how to calculate a rehab.
Yeah.
So for a beginner, how would you make an offer? How would you estimate a rehab?
If I was doing it over again, I'd call an experienced investor I know, like somebody credible that's not going to go try to steal a deal from you.
Right.
Because a lot of real estate investors like giving advice, and maybe just have a pro come out there and give you their opinion on the rehab, somebody who's been there, done that, and give you a good idea of what to pay for it.
Yeah, and guys, I can be that guy for you if you're watching and you're in San Antonio, Austin, New Braunfels, secondary, third markets around San Antonio and Austin. If you have a hot lead, I'm talking a hot lead. Don't call me for no BS. Super hot lead. They want to sell. You know it's a deal. I'll partner up with you guys. I'll go out there for you. I'll make an offer and we can JV a deal. All right.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it.
That's for my podcast viewers right there.
But definitely don't be afraid to ask for help. And I actually called another big flipper in town. There's a guy flipping about 20, 30 houses a year I knew. And I called him to come out and do like a consultation with me on that first house, give me his opinion. And he said, yeah.
Free?
Yeah. I offered to pay him and he said, nah, don't worry about that, big dog.
Do you want to give him a shout out?
No, he's a bit of a scam artist. He's kind of fallen off now, but
oh, dang. I think I know. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. But
this was a few years ago.
Okay. So guys, watch out because there's a lot of con artists in the game.
Good until they're not.
Exactly. So do you have a formula now, like a price per square foot?
Okay. I thought you meant the buy formula.
Okay. Well, let's start with that.
So I typically buy at 75% of ARV minus repairs.
That's what you buy at.
And that's not for like a full-blown gut job, some 1920s house. That's for something that's like moderate
cosmetic? Or less. You close on 75% deals?
Yes.
I'm adding you to my buyers list today.
Well, sometimes wholesalers' numbers aren't always. I'm talking 75% on real numbers.
No, our numbers are pretty accurate.
Okay.
But you know how it goes.
Yeah.
So that's good though, 75%.
Right.
I buy a lot lower than 75.
And that's stuff that I can rehab in like 2 months or less. I wouldn't do some huge project with those margins because by the time the interest payments add up, you don't have a margin anymore.
Right.
At that formula.
Gotcha. So you do okay. So for instance. Let me do that for the viewers real quick.
My rule of thumb over the last couple of years for cosmetic rehab, just the cosmetic stuff has been around $20 a square foot. That'll cover like flooring, paint, trim, doors.
$20 a square foot?
For a basic cosmetic rehab.
So you're talking 1,000 square foot house?
Yeah, 20 grand just for the basic cosmetic stuff.
Sounds about right.
Texture, paint, doors, floors, maybe tile, showers, stuff like that.
Okay, and guys, I wanted to show you what he meant. So $100,000 times you buy it 75%.
So let's say a house that's worth $100,000 fixed up.
Right, a house is worth $100,000 after you fix it.
The offer is going to start at $75,000, and then I'll take off what the repair estimate is.
So let's just say it's 30 in repairs.
Yeah, 30 in repairs. That'd be 45.
You would buy that at $45,000.
Correct.
So that's what he means at buying at 75%.
Yeah.
Okay. Easy money, easy math.
And a lot of the investors I know in town use that formula still too.
Yeah, I do too. Well, me personally, if I buy it, I gotta buy a slam dunk.
Yeah.
I could buy probably 50%.
Yeah, I guess it depends.
I buy slam dunks only, but.
And some of them I just offer like 70% of the as is value and just sell it as is.
Like depending, like if you can just hotel it or something.
Yeah, I actually kind of learned that from Logan Fulmer. Just looking at the as-is value, buy it for less than what it's worth today, and just go sell it for what it's worth. Gotcha. I mean, that's the easiest of easy money.
Yeah. So, so you're talking $20 a square foot
for a basic cosmetic rehab. That's been my rule the last couple of years. Right now, it's probably a little higher, but
mine's a little higher too. But you're not talking about HVAC, roofs. You're just talking about cosmetics.
No, none of that.
Not even kitchens and baths. Or you are talking kitchens and baths?
Like repainting cabinets, basic granite, stuff like that.
Damn, you got some good contractors.
That's on the low end. Like now, it's probably a few bucks more than that.
I would probably calculate. Let's just say 1,000 square foot house. You're talking about taking out bathrooms and putting standing showers and stuff, or no?
Yeah,
I would probably.
but the showers have been pretty cheap.
I'm getting showers for pretty cheap. How much you paying for a shower?
The last one I can remember that wasn't like day labor, it was subbed out separate. I want to say like $800 or $1,000.
To do what now?
Stand-up shower.
Take out the tub, put a stand up.
Not with a whole conversion, but let's just say the place is already demoed. They're going to go in, build a shower pan, do the valve, tile the walls, do the...
$1,000. I think
Yeah.
I'm paying like $1,200 right now.
Yeah.
That's with demo and everything.
That's the last one I can remember. And then the tub surrounds are like $600 usually in labor.
Yeah. Okay, how much are you paying? And we're getting technical here, guys. No podcast does this.
Yeah.
And we're talking San Antonio, Texas market.
Yeah,
summer
keep in
of
mind
2023.
our labor rates are lower here than most other areas.
Yeah, but also there's a difference between a residential remodeler and an investor remodeler. They're two different prices. So we're giving you investor prices. You're not going to make money with these residential companies that
Yeah, if you
charge
go
10
find
grand
the
a bathroom.
first contractor off Google, no,
Yeah.
you can't.
Okay,
do
so
that.
let's give them some real numbers. How much are you paying right now per square foot on tile?
Floor tile, the install. There's actually still guys who will do it for $1 a square foot
You're still finding guys do it $1?
for floor tile.
What do you mean by floor? Yeah, just laying
Yeah,
down
right.
just tile.
Right.
Okay, $1. Do you still find guys do it $1?
Still,
I need that contact.
they're
Um,
on Facebook. They're all over the place.
How much are they laying laminate for?
Also $1.
$1. Okay. How much are they laying carpet for? You don't do carpet.
That one I usually just get the total price, and it's around $2 a square foot with the carpet and pad.
$2 a square foot. Okay. A roof, you pay by the square?
Yes, most recently around $200-215 a square.
With material.
Correct.
Okay, that's good. Foundation?
Just labor like 80 to 100.
Yeah, you're getting good prices. I think I'm paying like 70 a square. Just labor.
That's great.
Yeah. Foundation per post for pier and beam.
I don't do foundation work very often.
You don't do? Okay.
They typically shake out like a pier and beam full redo. A year ago for me was like 10 grand for 1,000 square foot house. So
Dang, I can hook you up on that. I'll probably pay like on 1,000 square
that
foot
was
house, pier and
before.
beam.
Here in town, I use a guy Diego's House Leveling now. This was before
Yeah,
that.
but he blew up already.
Oh,
Everybody, I heard a lot of people use him now.
yeah.
Texture.
So that one, I don't have a good individual cost on because I usually roll it in with a ton of other stuff.
Okay. Paint. Do you do it by the square foot?
Actually, no, there was the most recent texture job I did was like about $1 a square foot, I think.
Windows.
$200 each install plus the window, so like 400
So take off the old window, put a window on.
standard size.
200.
Yeah,
Standard. Okay.
yeah, 400 with material.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. We just broke down some rehab numbers for you. That's pretty much everything minus electrical, HVAC, and plumbing.
Right.
So, it's pretty good for y'all right there. All right. So I wish I would have known that stuff. You can like literally
Yeah.
break down a rehab with those numbers we just gave you.
That's why if you don't know what you're doing, you should call an expert, not wait till you're 3 months in and 30 grand over budget and say, hey, help me. It's like, well, there's not much to help with now. You're already going to take a huge loss. Because
Yep.
I've had people call me in that situation. It's like digging them out of a hole versus just doing well from the start.
Yep, exactly. Man, we're at in serious value here, guys. If y'all are liking this and y'all are getting something from this, I promise we're giving you a course right now. We're giving you a course that people charge hundreds of dollars for right now for free. The last thing I wanted to go over, we went over rehabs. Literally, we broke down price per square foot. That's crazy. Nobody does that on podcast.
Yeah.
We broke down data.
Yep.
We broke down marketing channels. We broke down pretty much everything that goes on in a deal. The last thing is ARV.
Right.
And if you don't know what that is, it's the after repair value. How much the house is worth after you repair it.
This
All right.
is a great one, and it's really important to know because that's where your offer price comes from.
Exactly. So how do you come up with ARVs?
I use really similar standards to what I think most appraisers use. Typically try to stay in a half-mile radius or the same legal subdivision. 3 months, the last previous month's sales, if I can. I'll go as far as 6 months. And then we want to stay to houses built within the same decade and plus or minus 20% of the square footage. So let's say you got a 1,000 square foot house, you're going to look at houses that are 800 to 1,200 square feet within a half-mile radius or the same neighborhood. and sold within the last 3 to 6 months.
Gotcha. And so for like somebody that
And obviously similar finishes and stuff like that.
yeah. If somebody doesn't have access to the MLS, what would you suggest to them to find ARVs?
PropStream was the last one that I had used that had good MLS data. And then if not, I would just find another agent in your area and see if they'll add you on as an unlicensed assistant. Maybe you can give them a little fee or something for that.
Mm-hmm. So guys, PropStream, I have a code for you to get a discount. If you're interested in that, it's how to get ARVs, right, for any market in the United States. So it's data from the MLS from the local counties. So I got access to that for y'all, and I have a code for you. So reach out to me if you want that.
Then that software has been around a long time, and they've continued to grow and evolve as this business has grown and evolved. So I think they'll be around a while.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, man. I think we broke down pretty much everything. Let's talk about some profits, man. What was one of your best flips?
So I actually had 2 back-to-back that were just under 80 grand last year. Yeah, and those were like back-to-back, like less than a month apart, and it was crazy. So that was a good month. I mean, I got paid out, and that was just, there were many more deals on top of that. So there was like a window of a couple months where I got paid out like 300 grand.
Dang, crazy, guys. What would that do to change your life? A window of a few months to make $300,000. How would that change your life?
And it's kind of crazy because when those wires actually hit my account, I almost felt nothing. Like I just went and had a normal day, but it all comes during the buildup. Like when you get each deal locked up, you feel that, and then it just builds.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes life.
I hope y'all get to experience that.
I hope whoever watches this too, somebody takes something from it and does something with that, because it is good to, accomplish your dreams.
I agree with you 100%. So, man, just for to end this show, man, what are some final words you can give for the viewers?
Maintain a positive attitude as much as you can. Anybody you're dealing with business-wise, always communicate whether things are going good or bad. Keep your head up, carry yourself well, and stick to the dream. Don't give up.
Oh, I love that. And you know what? Just to hammer on what he just said.
So much more of it's mental than people think.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. I think attitude, guys, and trying to be the best that you could be at what you do at the time is huge. So having a good attitude can literally be the difference between success and failure.
People will literally pay you for having a better attitude than your competitors.
It's crazy, man.
I've done it too.
That's crazy. I think that's one of my freaking super strengths, just having a great attitude. Because a lot of people just don't have that. It's so crazy. Not only that, guys, but do everything at 100%. Be the best you can be at what you do. The money will follow and the money will come later. I don't care if you're cutting grass right now or if you're a janitor. Just be the best you can be at what you do. The money will come, I promise. There was a show right now in the lobby. It's about the hot Cheetos, how it was discovered. It was literally the janitor. Like, just be the best you can be.
I did not know that.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. You got to watch it. And then lastly, man, where can they find you?
So I'm on Facebook, Stone Saathoff. I'm on Instagram, stone.saathoff. And that's really where I share most of my stuff.
All right, guys, you know where to find us. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok at JR Clutch. We look forward to give you more content just like this and bring you guys really doing this every day and learning from them. All right, if you got questions, drop them in the comment section. Stone, will you respond to some of these comments if they got some questions?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, guys, you heard it from him first. And last question. What does clutch mean to you?
To me, clutch means like coming in at the last minute and saving the day.
Do you think you got that?
I try not to come in at the last minute, but I save the day every now and then.
I love it, man. Well, I think you're clutch, and that's why you're on this show.
Awesome.
And to me, clutch just means you're making it happen. You're a winner.
It's awesome. It's good to be here. I've seen a lot of great people on this show, so.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you coming on. And guys, I hope y'all like this show. And we're going to bring you guests just like this. We got a new podcast studio that we're working on, and we're going to bring out some great content. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in all the way through this, and we'll see you on the next one, guys. Stay clutch.